When our kids get on the school bus each afternoon, we expect they'll make it home safely. 11 children are tonight in hospital, some in a bad way, after their bus was hit by a truck and rolled. 45 kids had to be rescued. Sam Kuchiara is near Melton, west of Melbourne. Sam, I mean, these kids are so young, they must have been so incredibly scared. What do we know about how old they are and how bad their injuries?
Well, these kids were all from the same primary school here in Melbourne, Ali, and of those 11, as you say, that are in hospital tonight, we're told 10 of those are in a serious condition with their parents right now by their bedsides. This all happened after school today. These primary school kids did something they do every single day. They jumped on their school bus to go home. Many of their parents were waiting at nearby bus stops. You can only imagine those kids would have been talking about their days, maybe cracking some jokes with their friends when suddenly their bus was hit from behind. It tumbled over onto its side. A number of these kids flew through the air. They became trapped in this bus and had to be rescued, pulled out of the shattered windscreen of this bus. And you can only imagine when you look at the pictures from this crash scene, just how scared they would have been, and also how much of a miracle it is that nobody was killed out here this afternoon.
Yeah, we're just looking at those pictures as you were talking there, Sam. Some of those kids, they were so little in their school uniforms. And I just feel for those parents racing to the scene, not knowing if their little ones were okay. Have you managed to speak to any of them?
Around 20 minutes ago, a number of parents and kids who didn't have to go to hospital began walking out from the scene. Many of them were bundled in blankets, understandably very shaken. I did speak to one lady who was waiting at a bus stop for her daughter. She's only 5 years old and in prep, and understandably she raced to the scene in a panic. Here's some of what she had to tell me.
Tears, emotion, everything was rushing. She was frightened. It was not a great call, but we were one of the lucky ones.
And how is she?
Yeah, she's good. She's got, it's funny with blood on her hands. We don't know. It's just some dried blood, some scratches on her hands and her legs. But no, overall, she's very lucky.
It's a lot for them to go through. And Sam, you just mentioned a little earlier that it was a truck that struck the back of the bus. It looks like it's a pretty isolated road where you are. Any further details on how it happened?
Well, specialist police crash investigators have just arrived here in the past 15 minutes or so, and that's something they're right now looking at. You can't see the crash site from here. It's around 300 metres from where standing at this police roadblock. It's not too far from the primary school itself, and police have told us that this bus was attempting to turn a corner when a truck has, for some reason, hit it from behind, and that's when that bus has flipped on its side, trying to turn that corner. They've told us the truck driver is right now speaking with police as they try and work out exactly what happened.
And so it tops off a pretty horrific 24 hours on our roads, including that double fatality with reports of BMW sped through a red light, and look, just like that, 2 innocent lives gone.
It's really such an incredible tragedy, Ali. 2 Indian nationals, I'm told, who were in a Honda in Caulfield South. It's on the other end of Melbourne in the southeastern suburbs. Just before 11 o'clock last night, they were not doing anything wrong. They were minding their own business. They were coming out of a side street onto a main road when police say a car that was speeding, a BMW, they allege it ran a red light, hit the driver's side of this car, killing those 2 people instantly at the scene. And perhaps the most tragic part of all is that all of their family is overseas in India, so police are now trying to track down their family to break that very, very sad news to them.
We're just hearing this too often, Sam. Of course, you had those 3 women a couple of weeks back killed in Queensland, allegedly struck by that 13-year-old in a stolen car. You also had the accident in Victoria in Strathmerton, 5 innocent lives lost. I mean, our roads and our cars are supposedly getting safer, so why is the road toll so high already this year?
Well, that's the question that senior police in the road safety area have said that if they knew the answer to this question, then nobody would be dying on our roads. And they've also likened the road toll and said if that number of people each year were murdered, there'd be outrage around this country. There'd be royal commissions because the number is simply too high, an almost 6% increase this year alone around the country of road deaths. And that is certainly angering police who've put so much effort into trying to bring down this road toll. A little earlier today, I spoke with the Victoria Police Road Safety Command Assistant Commissioner Glenn Weir.
When we dig down into the cause of most of the trauma, it all comes back to 2 or 3 different things. Speed is as well as impaired driving, so alcohol and or drugs. We're also seeing a large number of unauthorised drivers, people who shouldn't be driving, who've been caught by us before or have lost their licence for some other reason and are still continuing to drive in a risky manner, and they're the people that we focus on.
All those young kids stealing cars. Look, Sam, obviously it's going to be a long night where you are. We're all thinking of those little kids and their families tonight, and also the emergency workers who are at that scene this afternoon. Thanks, Sam.